In 1999, I came to Bali for the first time, and as a result of meeting some great people and seeing some beautiful fabric, I started a business where I designed batik. And after having done that for a few years, I thought that it might be fun to make some buttons out of polymer clay that would go with my batiks. So I had screens made that match my chops, my stamps, and I also just blended some colors and made buttons and sold them at trade shows. Then when I sold that business, I started taking tours to Bali, and I thought it might be interesting for some of my tour guests to meet John Anderson if he would be open to doing a demo or having a studio visit. I wasn't sure what was possible. And because I connected with his wife Skid, who's a fellow Canadian, I was able to get a yes, and they would come to the hotel where we stayed and provide a demo and show some of his animals for sale. So we've been doing that probably 7 tours. It started, I think, in the 2nd tour. That was fabulous, just a great connection for me, and I just feel like I have a nice solid friendship with John now. Also, as a result of the tours, I met Robin Smith. Robin and Warren have Ibu jewelry, and Robin has dabbled in polymer clay, and I visited her studio, and she also allows my tour guests to come and visit there. They make beautiful ethnic contemporary jewelry, and I could see from visiting Robin's studio that she really liked Maggie Maggio's work. And so I mentioned to her about Maggie, and she said, well, you know, Melanie Muir has come to visit me. So suddenly there's all these names whirling around, and we were all excited and thinking, gee, wouldn't it be fun if we could do something? And then when you, Cynthia, came on the tour, Maggie Maggio asked me, could I stop in Bali on my way to Australia and just have a little look around with you? And then she says, you know what, why don't we just have a workshop? So we did that 2-day workshop, which was great fun. And then Maggie left, and we just sort of carried on with, fortunately, having the invitation to John's studio, which was just fabulous. Yeah, I think the expat community here takes advantage of the fact that they're surrounded by not only beautiful nature, but also the very, very artistic and talented Balinese people and Indonesian people in general. It's not uncommon for every person to have some sort of skill, whether it's wood carving, basket weaving, batik making, all sorts of things, painting.
It's just really expected, isn't it?
Well, it's a way for them to supplement their income. So they may be a desk clerk by day, and at night they may be doing some other handicraft that they can sell. Maybe once a week at a large resort, they might have a craft night. And so people can make a little extra money.
Yeah, it's really part of the culture
to
be an artist. I mean, it's not unusual at all.
No,
yeah.
Not unusual. The talent level here has got to be very, very high in comparison with other parts of the world. I don't have a lot of experience having traveled in Southeast Asia, but you know, Cambodia, Vietnam, Thailand, they're artistic as well, of course.
Yeah.
But the Balinese, they just it's been a big part of their life, I think, since children. They pass on the skills from father to son, etc.
Yeah.
Well, it would be lovely to think that we might be able to have some future workshops here. I know that there's interest. Maggie has talked about it, Melanie Muir's talked about it, and certainly Robin Smith is very keen. So there's this small community of people here who I think would like to learn a little bit more about polymer. But what I see happening, what I would like to see happen is for there to be folks coming from the Americas or Europe, Australia, and come here as a destination, have a polymer workshop, and I could blend it with some of the other activities that I do in my fiber tours. Yeah, my co-leader, Cheryl, and we were roommates in the police academy. We were in the very first class of our federal police department, which is the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, the red serge tunics and the horses. Yeah, and so 1974 we trained, and Cheryl did about 30 years in, and at 22 years I left early and went to carry on with my batik business because I couldn't really do both. But yeah, we have that experience and it's fun. I mean, we've got a lot of history together, and we feel that, you know, we can provide like a safe environment for our tour guests when they come. We think about possible eventualities that might happen before they come.
Really?
And
So it's still in your mind?
Always.
Always
Yeah,
in your mind.
Yeah, always. Yeah.
And how did you get from there to art? Or were you always an artist and it simply was in hibernation or something?
Well, I don't think so. It was really sewing. We had to learn to sew in high school. Those were the days. And I didn't necessarily want to. I really wanted to do woodwork and what the guys were doing, but we were limited to what we could do as girls. So I learned to sew, and then that kind of saved me. When I got jobs after university, I always could make my own clothes. And then decided that I'd like to come to Bali and see how batik is made, because it was a little bit difficult to acquire in North America in 1999. So I made the connections, the same connections I use today on my tours. I worked with the batik factory for 12 years and designed batik mainly for women's clothing and for a little bit for men's clothing. And now I take my tour guests there and they can stamp their own fabric and do their own designing, so it's a lot of fun.
And you do one tour a year, 2 tours a year?
2 tours a year.
In the fall?
This year we did spring and fall, but next year, 2016, we'll only do spring. I've got one tour in May is full already, and there's some room in the tour May 1st to 14th.
And you only take women and you take 10?
I only take 10 women, yeah.